Welcome back to Aletius Sports Talk. I'm Enrique Aletius. Stars look to stay alive in this series by getting a win in Las Vegas and hopefully extending the series to 7 games with a win back home. We'll see what happens from there. Who knows what happened at game 7, but first they got to take care of this game in Vegas first. So here are some of my keys for victory. I think the Dallas Stars need to pull this one off. First, I think it starts with the goaltending and on out. And that means it begins with Jake Oettinger. I think that he needs to have a solid game. And I know it always seems like, Oettinger is always the focal point of the Stars games, and he needs to play well in order to win. But if you look at this team, right, he is a huge part of their success, right? Just like any other team out there who have a really great goalie, whether it's the Vasilevskis and even Bobrovsky now with the Panthers. It starts with the goalie, right? The goalie. You need good goaltending to win the playoffs. That's just a thing that's over the years. Like everyone knows it, and for the most part, right, there have been some goalies there that don't always play as well, but the team can kind of carry them. But this team with the Stars, they go where Oettinger goes, right? And I'm not saying that the Stars are not capable of winning if he has maybe an off night. Wedgwood's pretty good back there, and when they're on their game, they could probably kind of rally for goals and everything. But in this situation, in the playoffs right now, down 1-3 and hopefully trying to make it to game 7, I think he's going to have to play really, really well consistently in order for the Stars to even have a chance to extend this series to 7 games. Secondly, the Stars are going to need to have continued offensive production from Jason Robertson, right? And even, he's had pretty good defensive play, so he's just going to have to keep continuing, right, the good play that he's been doing. And look, clearly, he's been the Stars' best player in this series. Jamie Benn's still out, and not as much offense by the rest of the team in terms of just like production on the stat sheet and everything like that. But other people on the team have done pretty well. The Pavelski's in there, he kind of stepped up. But, this is what people talk about when they say that for the Stars, the top guys on the team have to be the top guys. And Robertson, I think, really has a chance to prove here that, he is the leader, or at least one of the top leaders of the team, and offensively, and just whether it's making plays back on defense, back checking, things like that. But he almost has to will his team here to victory to kind of keep the ball rolling here and extend this to at least another game and hopefully to 7. Bottom line here, though, is he's been playing really well, and he's just going to have to keep continuing to do that if the Stars are going to have a chance. I think he's capable of doing it. He's young guy, and it's all new to him, but maybe he needed a couple games to kind of get used to the playoff atmosphere. But look, so far, he's playing so much better in this series than he has in last. It's just the Stars are down 1-3, but hopefully he can, if he has a big game again, he can kind of just get one win at a time. Lastly, I think the Stars are going to have to maintain puck possession and their time on attack and avoid giving the Golden Knights just these opportunities to capitalize on mistakes that are there. We saw it on that overtime goal that had the Vegas Knights winning, I think in game 3 or whatever. But when the Stars were leading in that game, they basically were controlling, I thought, a good portion of the game, and they were kind of playing the game they wanted to. They were, doing the things that they needed to keep the lead and everything. And there was just that one mistake that cost them to go into overtime. But, I feel like when the Stars are controlling the puck, and they don't allow the Knights or any other team to have too much time in the offensive zone, like specifically the way the Knights play, they're just able to really capitalize like that on mistakes. But they've just had success in controlling the game and also playing their game and how they want to, when they can kind of keep it out of the hands of the Knights and not have the Knights be the ones to dictate it. Because even like a back and forth game between the two, I don't know, I think the Knights could find themselves in a little bit of trouble, or the Stars could find themselves in a little bit of trouble. The Knights have such a strong forecheck, and they're able, again, they're just so good at if they have a mistake and their transition game is pretty quick, that they can turn that into a good chance or even a goal. Look, the bottom line, I think, is that the Stars are just going to want to minimize the good chances that the Golden Knights could have if they give up too many odd man rushes, if they have let guys stay in front of the net. We saw that the other day where Suter kind of missed his check or his stick check, and he let the guy get a little backdoor play there or across the crease. They just don't want to give the Knights these prime scoring chances too many times, especially at home. Don't let the crowd get into it as much. But again, it should be all interesting to see if the Stars can survive here, and they're going to come out in a pretty loud barn in Las Vegas. The odds are stacked against them, historically, just being down 0-3. A lot of these things are kind of going against the Stars here. But if you're in that locker room, I'm guessing it's just hey, one shift at a time, one game at a time, and all those hockey cliche bullshit stuff. But it's real, I guess, right? You just have to make sure that they maintain that composure. And I just think that they shouldn't. It's important for them to not let this game get out of hand too quickly. Like it's a snowball effect that like if this game, if they go down 2-0 or get an early goal, maybe one goal in early in the period is not going to be the worst thing. But like you go down 0-2 in the first period, it starts to get in your head a little bit, and then now you have to take chances to kind of close that gap. But then in taking chances, there's more odd man rushes the other way. But again, it's gonna be interesting. I think that if they just again maintain that pressure, keep the chances to the outside on their own end, and they maintain that puck and have the time on attack be more on the Vegas end, they probably have a chance here. But we'll see, right? Who knows what can happen? Just get one win a period at a time. Get out one win, as they all say. And if they could push it to 7, who knows what can happen? But it should be a fun one, and we'll see how they pull this one off if they can.